Shout out to G-Man Boxing. Where's the piss bottle? It's over there.
So it's being reported today, through several sources by the way, that Deontay Wilder in his arbitrational hearing against Tyson Fury for not following through with the third fight in the trilogy, apparently, reportedly anyway, Wilder's team have won. They've won their, we call it, it's not a case, but we call it a settlement or arbitrational. Essentially, they've won that. Now, what a lot of people are saying is that it's putting the AJ fight in doubt. I seen one source, wasn't Mike Coppinger, I forget who it was, but they listed a date and it said that the third fight should have to happen. It will have to happen by September this year. September 15th at the very latest, I believe they said it was. That really does throw a spanner in the work for AJ Fury. Now, this arbitrational hearing, I was kind of surprised when this came about originally. You know, I know Team Wilder in the month of November of last year, because bear in mind, Fury was trying to get a fight with Ajay Kabayel or Carlos Takam on December 10th in London. It was going to be behind closed doors. They said it was money was the issue. To be honest with you, I was kind of like, maybe, but they'd have to expect that there'd be no fans in attendance, you know, at that said event. And other people were saying, no, maybe Team Wilder have more sway than they originally thought. Maybe they're the ones trying to get this done. And then it was early in the new year. They said that this arbitrational hearing was happening. And I remember hearing about it. I think I even done a video on it. And I said, look, what can the arbitrational hearing do? I mean, surely it would be a proper court case if it was really to get this third fight happening. You know, not an arbitrational hearing. But apparently, no. This was being reported that no, Team Wilder have, you know, won their case, so to speak, and it looks like as it stands, because the way boxing is, God only knows what's happening. You know, there's people saying this week, you know, there's people saying last week that going into this week we'd have AJ Fury announced. Now we're hearing this AJ Fury may be in doubt. We're hearing that Wilder versus Fury 3 is next. It's a bit kind of all over the place. That's why I'm glad I made that wait when we get there video, because this is why I don't want to be making videos on AJ Fury. You know, this happened, and then I'm not. Look, I'm watching this space, you know, but it's not looking good. You know, it's not looking good at all in terms of, are we going to get the fight this summer? Oh, we will definitely get the fight, you know, eventually. But this summer, I think that if all this is legit, which I have no reason to believe it isn't, and if they're deadly serious that a third fight has to happen come September, then I think that the summer for AJ Fury is looking like a write-off. You know, the same way a certain, you know, Bojo the Clown stole Christmas for the people in Britain last year, it seems as though summer's going to be stolen for AJ Fury. So I don't know, it's an interesting one. In terms of Wilder Fury 3, I could no more want to see that fight, to be honest with you. I'd watch it, but the first fight was intriguing because where's Fury at? He's only just come back. What the hell is he doing taking the fight with Deontay Wilder? It was a decent scrap. It had drama in it. Wait a year for the rematch. We're thinking, oh, the cut. How's Fury going to do? What has Wilder done different? And it was just, I think we all expected a competitive fight in the rematch. I remember I picked Fury to win the rematch on points. There was a lot of people on YouTube, I think Hatman, I think a few others, picked Deontay Wilder to win the rematch. So a lot of people were siding for Deontay Wilder. And it was just one side. It was one-sided. You know, there's no ifs or buts. It was one-sided. And I think that's really knocked the drama out of the third fight, if and when we get it, is because we've seen it twice. We've seen Fury, in my opinion, win the first fight. It was close, but not get the decision. We've seen him, you know, beat Deontay Wilder's head off in the second fight. I was just like, what is there to do now? We've seen it kind of all now. The only thing we'd see is Wilder winning, but I can't see that. And, you know, people could say inactivity. They've been out of the ring at the exact same time, so it won't really matter. And it will probably affect Tyson Fury less than Deontay Wilder, because Deontay Wilder relies a lot on timing. And, you know, when you're out of the ring for a long time, timing will go. Yes, he's been looking a little bit better on the pads at Malik Scott, but, you know, that's the pads. You know, I saw Alexander Povetkin looking good in the pads going into the Dylan White rematch. Did he look good in the ring? Hell no. You know, hell no, he didn't look good in the ring. This is where we stand now. At the end of the day, whatever happens at this stage. You know, if Fury has to fight Wilder in the trilogy fight, right, then that's what he has to do. At the end of the day, if there's no way you can get out of it, you've beaten him once, arguably twice. You think you can beat him again? And Deontay Wilder, it's entertaining. I love watching Deontay Wilder in the ring. He's entertaining. So I'm not happy with it, but if it has to be, it has to be. If we can get AJ Fury after, happy days. For Anthony Joshua, well, I think he needs to fight Alexander Usyk. He needs to get rid of that mandatory with the WBO. You know, in many ways. I wonder why, because at the start of the year, Frank Warren was saying, you know, oh, we'll have an announcement for Usyk Joy soon, April or May. Well, April's gone, May almost gone, and we've heard no more about that than we have anything else. So I think Usyk's manager, Isaac Klimas, was saying that, you know, he wants to hold out and see what the situation is with AJ Fury. And it's looking like that might be the right decision because they can push for the mandatory. Alexander Usyk, he will cause AJ a world of problems. I'm not necessarily going to pick him. I have days where I look at that fight and I think AJ one day and Usyk the next. Right now I'm kind of up in the air, but I think that is the fight that AJ would need to take. If we're not getting Fury versus AJ this summer, if we have to wait until December or early 2022, then let's get the mandatory out of the way. Let's get AJ versus Usyk. Let's get Fury Wilder 3. You know? I don't think any other fight. At the end of the day, like, they want to be undisputed. Get the mandatory out of the way for the WBO. As far as I'm aware, you have no WBA mandatory. The WBA is just a joke. I mean, God only knows. They hardly ever called the super mandatory anyway. And then you have your IBF, which I believe you took care of. And that's it then. With Fury, I mean, the WBC mandatories, you know, I mean, they've had... Think of it like this is how crazy the WBC is. In 6 years, right, there have been 2 mandatory defences in 6 years. Stavern and Brazil for Deontay Wilder. In 6 years. Imagine that. And the IBF, you know, in some divisions, it's a mandatory every year. So, bit of a joke there. But, look, this is the situation now. We need to just watch this space. You know, it's been announced today. We need to see what Team Fury say, to see what Bob Arum says, what Shelley Finkel says. I don't know if Shelley Finkel is still with Deontay Wilder or not. I haven't heard much about that. But we'll need to see what Team Wilder say. We just have to wait and see at the end of the day. But that's what the news we're getting today about the arbitrational hearing. Look, at the end of the day, I want to see Fury Wilder 3, not particularly. Will I watch it? Yes. If it might mean we have to wait for Undisputed, so be it. So be it. If it's another, 6 months or so, I want to see AJ Fury. I mean, neither guy, I would imagine, is going to regress significantly over the course of 6 months. It's just the risk that one of them loses, and you'll still get the undisputed fight. I would hope anyway. So, say for example, AJ loses to Usyk and Fury beats Wilder. Usyk versus Fury is a good fight. It won't generate the same money as AJ versus Fury will, but it's still a good fight. But AJ Fury has that. It's hard to say. That fight you just think of the two guys in the ring getting on it. It's just something about it. You know, that's why I want to see the fight. But by the end of last week, I was just so sick of hearing next week. I just said, no, I'm not going to touch it until I know for definite this fight's happening. So we need to watch this space, see what happens. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think, like some people are reporting, that we are going to get Fury versus Wilder 3 come what September? If that is the case, are you in agreement with me and you think, well, Age fight Usyk? Get rid of the mandatory. Fight Usyk. You know, don't, you know, fight, literally get rid of the mandatory. You know? So let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you could, lads and lasses, smash the like button. Subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. #GMansRocks, all that good stuff, lads and lasses. For now, I'll talk to you. Peace.